You're listening to Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official podcast of Lingerie Fighting Championships. And now, here's your host, Michael Latkin.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today is, you may have known her from her adult work as adult star Alura Jenson, but I know her as the one and only all joy inspired herself, digging into darkness, living in light, the one and only Miss Elizabeth Spraggins. How are you, Miss Elizabeth?
I'm the dog out. Hold on. That my very large angry dog. 1 second. Get out of here. She's like, nah, I don't think I will. So right now she's kind of half in, half out of the room. I'm so happy to be here. Hi.
All good. It all happens with pets. Luckily, my cat, folks, who has been in these shows a lot, is on my bed, so I do not have the pet problem that you have with the dog. That's a beautiful thing, though. Gotta love pets. Oh my goodness. But I will say first and foremost, it's a pleasure to have you on the show because as the show is entitled, folks, Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. I cannot think of anyone better than you, my friend. You have been doing your thing for such a long time now. You've transitioned out and you've journeyed into what you're doing now with Digging Through Light and just everything and just living in light, digging through darkness. I love what you're doing. I can't express it enough, folks. If you have not checked out Miss Elizabeth Spraggins, you're doing a lot of great things, and your journey is just the beginning. I really can't say nothing but good things about it.
So much. It was a few years in the making. It's not something that just happened overnight. But given, current events and things happening in the world, I decided very suddenly one day, after several things leading up to that decision, that I had had enough and that somebody needed to do something.
Oh, agreed. I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. What folks get to see with our product with LFC, it's exuding and accentuating internal and external beauty. What I really love about it too as well, I think with what you have, and I think a lot of the girls can separate it because they're so unique, but also what I look about you as well, you're very unique for you've had that character that was amplified for many years, but also at the same time, now that you're out of it and you're being yourself, I think it's wonderful because in life, we're all very unique people, and all, as the LFC girls are, as are you, very smart, intelligent girls that know what to do, that can fight and kick ass, but also have the brains. And I think that's a variety for people, and it really just shines through their journey and their overall being. So the confidence boost and just the overall body confidence internally, externally, and spiritually, it works on levels since many layers,
I definitely agree with you. And it takes a lot for a woman to even get into the mixed match fighting and the LFC fighting that which you guys were talking about.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Because it gives a woman a sense of like power, like what you're saying, like dominance and sense of control, because the world seems to be spinning. It's spinning and it's making a lot of people pretty dizzy. And with women these days, women are either making themselves crazy or they're hiding in a corner somewhere. So what these fighters do is roar the world.
Literally roar. Rawr.
Charge of my space and let this other girl try to tell me I'm not, and I'm that. Love that, man.
Well, that's how you have to look at it. I mean, I look at it from a stance too as well. We look in popular culture like Jennifer Lopez and Enough from the year 2002. There's so many great things that really imply to what we get to see with LFC. I mean, from the inner circle, the outer circle, but also at the same time, man, the empowerment of body confidence and fitness, which I have to bring up in your case, because I got to bring this up to you, Miss Elizabeth Spraggins. Sprag on it. You are looking absolutely fabulous, taking care of yourself. I know your journey is killing it. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's so, I did gain when I quit the industry. I quit performing and I started launching all these businesses. I'm sitting at a desk for 12 to 15 hours a day, about 25 pounds. And so far I've lost 17 pounds of that. 8 more pounds to go before I'm feeling spectacular again. But yeah, you.
You're welcome. No, the journey starts somewhere. And I mean, it does show with how you're looking, how you're feeling, because that's also very important to get into combat fights or just in general, man. If you're not loving what you're doing, if you're not feeling yourself, man, you have to have that. It's a mindset. It's an overall just saying, man, it's the representation of your presentation, as I like to say it.
You are absolutely right. And women, especially fighters or not fighters, women in general are very sensitive to their physical condition because in the world today, women's appearance and their physical condition is what some people see as their value. So when a woman is strong, and she's feeling fit, she's confident and she's dangerous.
Hmm. No, I agree with you. And I think what I love about it too is as well is the dangerous part of a woman and just everything in general, not besides the variety and the amplification of the character. I mean, folks, what we get to see with so many different women coming in, whether they've done adult modeling, adult work, or professional wrestling, what have you, that is so very much in key to the discipline, to the body confidence, to the fitness that goes into it. But I also got to say this as well. A lot of women, and we talked about it in our last forum here, Miss Elizabeth Spraggins, the evolved fights, if you will, done by Alex. Your girl Brandy May's done it.
Love
You've done
her.
it. Me too. And I love it because, again, sex appeal is so key. I think sometimes we forget it's like, all right, it's okay to be sexy because in a day and age where, again, we get offended over the littlest stuff, but also at the same time, it's like, there's a lot of beautiful women out there. Showcase that external beauty, sexiness. If you got it, flaunt it, voluptuosity factor. It's okay to be sexy because sexy comes in so many different layers and there's a lot of different layers
Yeah.
to that law of attraction.
Yes, sexy, it comes in all different forms, being attractive and feminine and strong and just fierce. And one of the things I love most about the fighters is not their outward appearance, because an outward appearance changes. What I love is their intellect and the tactical strategy that goes into what it is that they do for a living. Ariel X is the most immediate and most profound example of what it takes to be a tactical fighter. I mean, she's so good at it, anybody would get in the ring with her anymore and expect to have a fighting chance of winning, no pun intended.
Well, that's the thing too, and I like how you so eloquently put that. The intellect, the science, the mechanics of what you're doing, how you systematically dissect and joint manipulation vibes to it. That's what you have to look
Mm-hmm.
for because it's a game of chess. It's not checkers, as Denzel Washington said in Training Day. You have to find the overall ability. It's the mind thing that really is stimulating. I mean, we talk about beautiful and sexy women, but for how you get to where you're going to, there's tit for tat, there's this
Mm-hmm.
and that. But god dang it, man, if you don't have it in here and you don't know what you're doing, then it's already game over for you.
Courage under fire, man. Courage under fire. What are you gonna do when it hits the fan?
It was almost Hulk Hogan-esque right there. What you gonna do, brother? Taking it back to the 80s on that. I like your style. I like your style.
Oh, you know who that reminds me of? Cheyenne Jewel. Do you remember her?
I do. Yes, Cheyenne is awesome.
Oh wow. Is she still fighting? Because I haven't been around the industry in a minute.
So
Is
she's done some cat fighting. I have seen. I think she still does tour, which again, another one who's just so skilled at what she does. Beautiful person
yeah.
in the ring, right? Yeah.
She's and she's fun because she's a fierce fighter, but she's not an a-hole about it. She's a challenge, but no matter what her position in the fight is, she's a decent human being, and you can tell that by how she maneuvers her opponents. I love that about her. I love that she doesn't have to humiliate somebody. She can just win. I love that about her.
Right. And I mean, I think it says it. I mean, we talk about inspiring through words and actions, but sometimes the action, you really don't need to say anything, and the actions speak for itself.
Yeah, like Brandy May, for example, Brandy May or Lady O. They're so super skilled, they don't have to be bees about it. They don't have to, crush a person's spirit. They can just do it tactically, and I'm still queen bee. I'm still queen bee. I mean, they're awesome. I love watching women who can be strong and conquer and still be ladylike and feminine and beautiful. I love that. Oh,
And that's always been the kind of like, and I've always debated this as well, because when you see women go into combative natures and combative sports, they feel like the ladylike is taken out. I'm like, no, there's still elegance and stuff there, but people
yeah.
overall have the perception. And I got to equate this to you because if you've not seen the skills that kills, and I'm going to put you over here, the skills that kills that you've done with Evolve fights and just your overall prowess, you got some skills too, ma'am.
I went to Catholic school.
All right. Fair enough, but still, you do got some skills. I got to put it to you that way, though. I got to give you respect on that.
Church, man, I'll get my ass kicked by boys and girls. And I grew up a fighter because growing up in Jersey and then going up to Philadelphia and then just being one of four girls, I learned to kick ass or I wasn't going to eat.
Well, you got a tough upbringing with Jersey and Philly. As a Northeaster myself in New York, I can understand that. I feel it.
Oh,
Yep.
singer can cook.
Yep. Exactly. If you're not cooking, you're fighting. There's a put that on the t-shirt because it's true. It's so true.
We call a conversation where we're from. Maybe you guys are much nicer about it.
I think we're Long Island, the Strong Island side of things. I mean, they're nicer, but also they're more dicks. So they know it, to put it in the most bluntest of terms. But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes us as people unique. It makes us all stand out.
They got no shame. And I could tell you a story about some guy that walked into my house that my sister was dating who had pineapple on his pizza. I never saw my father get up so fast and boot somebody out in front. My God. Fruit on pizza, that's just grounds to get an ass kicking.
All right. First of all, I got to agree with your father on that. I'm going to say it. I love me my pizza too, but God dang it, no pineapples, please. No. No pineapples.
You know what? You know who does it? It's those crazy Californians that do that. That's what they do. They're the anti East Coast. They're the not East Coast people. I won't even get ignorant about it, but put fruit on everything over there. They put fruit on everything.
They do. I mean, when you have the ultimate California pizzas, the perfect pizza picky people love, as they say. But I'm like, who wants pineapple? Who wants this? You don't need to put everything on a pizza. Give me some cheese. Give me some pepperoni. Give me some meatballs. Simple.
Done with it. And then they're coming out with all this weird shit like cauliflower crust and Alfredo, vegan sauce. And I'm like, you better take your ass down the road. Eat pizza, you're gonna eat pizza. Don't come in here with that hippie shit.
Amen to that. I like your style. Yes. But no, that's the thing too, where I think people should also take their asses to and go down the road to this path is all joy inspired, because I will say this, and I got to say this, besides your Facebook group, besides your website, I think what I love about too as well, now you've had a lot of talent on your show as well. I love giving people the platform to tell their story, but also at the same time, man, I love your message. And I think a lot of people are going to take away a lot from what you say, because it really does transfer very well.
That really means a lot to me, Mike. Thank you. And we've known each other for quite some time now. And I honestly didn't think this platform, talking about, erotic models and fighters, I didn't think we would want to hear that. So I'm really grateful you brought that up. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And here's the thing too, and I'll tell you straight up, like when I started, and I'll say this myself, when I started doing LFC work and working with talents, interviewing for adult entertainment, people will look at you like, why? And I'm like, well, let me tell you something. There's so many things that go into it, from scenes, from in behind the camera and outside the camera. But also at the end of the day, we're all people. We're all out there hustling, grinding, doing what we do to accumulate money, put money on our family's table. That's the thing. It's a job. It's a profession. It's a business. It may not be your type of business and may not be your cup of tea, but God dang it, man, let people live, let them enjoy their stuff. You have to look at it from that type of lens. And that's how I've always
I totally agree with you. And what you're saying is a powerfully intuitive thing to explain to a lot of the models out there who get into the business because it's exciting and they're making really good money. And then you think to yourself, well, what do I do if I get hurt and I can't work? What do I do if family situation arises and I can't do this anymore? Or if I have a moral conflict, or if I get pregnant, what do these models do if they get pregnant? They're not going to be fighting when they get pregnant, or just get bored of it and they want to do something new, right? There are a lot of different reasons why people think about doing something new for a living. And like you said, everything is a business. You are a businessman. You have a broadcasting channel, and that takes a lot of different management steps and logistics and preparations. And what people see as a broadcaster, what people get to watch might be 30 minutes to 90 minutes to 2 hours of their time, but there's at least a week that goes into preparing for a broadcast just like this one.
Oh yeah, and I think what I've always taken away from it too is making the most out of your time. Like if you give me 10 minutes, I'll make the most of it. 20, 30, I'm gonna shine what it is. It's all about making the most of your time. And I've always equated like this with LFC, because as MMA and wrestling to it, the moment you walk out that curtain, it's making the most of your time from your entrance until you get into that ring. You're doing business, but you're also putting on a show, and you have to entertain and electrify. And that's what goes into the overall presentation.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And as a broadcaster, just as well as I do, you got to be ready for a last minute WTF, and you've got to be prepared for the unknown or unplanned emergencies, like your electricity going out or the internet going, or your guest not showing up. Yeah.
And that does happen. And here's the thing with that. I'm usually good with rescheduling, but I also say this to my guests, and it annoys me in a way too, because I'm like, God damn it, let's be on time. It doesn't take you that hard to be on time. And why I always say that is because I look at it like this. I'm investing my time and energy. And you're investing your time and energy. It's a two-way street. We're dance. We need two dance partners here to put out some great content. And I love what I do solo, but if I'm asking to be on the show, be on time. Let's rock it. You know what I'm saying? Or at least give me a
Right.
heads up. I always say that professionalism, accommodation, comfortability.
I totally agree with you. One of the things I didn't know if you had time. I didn't know if we were able to talk about it, but I've been moving along in a lot of the endeavors that I've been pursuing, and one of those is actually teaching adult models and talent and just sex workers in general how to recognize the business skills that being in the work gave them and how to develop those into a profitable living in any business. And if they get tired of adult work, they can transfer these skills into a business that has nothing to do with what they might not feel like doing anymore.
Right. And I think what I like about that teaching too as well, and you posted something on social media that I have to bring up here, and we're going to talk about this. Now, are you in the stages of possibly writing a book? Because I got to tell you something right now. I would read that doggone book if that does occur. I think you would be a great author, and I'd love to read it.
I actually just started the planning today. Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm in,
Awesome.
I'm writing a book. We are building a school. It's not like a brick and mortar school, although I do have offices here in Las Vegas. But I am creating an actual course from start to finish for people of all education levels, because I know some folks come into adult performing or adult modeling straight out of school and they didn't get advanced education. So I'm building courses that are easy for people of all levels of education to understand and of all stages in life. And I am really, really excited to bring this out, but we are in the beginning stages. I'm in the logistical planning of the course itself. That's going to get started under construction super soon, but this is something I've been working on for a year.
I gotta say, what makes me smile about it is because we always talk about the fact that, like we stated at the earliest stage of this forum tonight, is again the mindset of just losing weight, being in the right stuff, mind, body, and soul,
Mm-hmm.
writing a book. That right there is just two steps forward and not taking two steps back. And I think what I love about it too, as well, is ever since you transitioned out and I'm going to say this, you've hit the ground running and ain't no stopping.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to see where this goes. I'm really excited.
Um, oh yeah, I did. Oh yes, I did. And there for me, I have had a motivation that is unbreakable. Absolutely unbreakable. Is that appropriate to say on the show? I got my very last day on set, I got a divine message and it told me, it says you're done. I will, this will be a famous story of mine forever. My faith, my belief in Jesus and in Christ and God, he sent a message straight into my chest, and I'm standing there and I'm looking at the set where I had just been brutalized. I mean, I was horribly, horribly injured. I did consent. If none of this was against my will, but I was brutally injured. And it took me about 7 months for just my insides to function normally. After that, and then I had to have chest reconstruction. So like it was something. It was something. But I was looking at the set right after the scene was finished because be a punk. I'm not gonna not finish it. I started it, and just raised. If you begin something, you finish it, right? You don't quit. So I'm like, I'm hearing my, departed father in my head. Hey, you chose this. You finish it. You don't punk out. So I finished what we were doing that day, and I stood there and I was looking at the room and I was just stood there and I said, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just put myself through that. And is that my only choice now? Is my only choice is to do something that rough and that extreme, or to go back home and perform a type of scenes which make me hate my soul. So I'm thinking this to myself, right? And I'm getting this message from above, and I hear two words in my chest: "You're done." And I was like, "Cool, I'm out." Cool. And then I'm on the plane. It was a rough ride home because I was so badly hurt. And I said, "What am I going to do? How am I going to tell my husband? I have no idea what I'm going to tell all the people I'm responsible for." And on top of that, I've got these other situations where, fans have the ability, what I'm talking about. How am I gonna wind this all down in a way that's not going to screw everybody over who's depending on me? And I got the idea. I came across something one day, a group of people who were really good to me, and I discovered what I was really capable of doing. And what's super awesome is that this capability, this sort of enthusiasm, this love for oneself and for people in the world and future, this isn't everybody. It just took kind people to say they believed in me. It took kind people to just say, hey, we know what you've been up to, but we don't care because you have a good heart and we're going to show you how to, create and accomplish the goals that you're looking to do. And I was like, I kind of want to do that for people who felt like I did that day. So that's what I do now.
I remember when you first posted that you were leaving your profession,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thought to myself, cool. You know, it's another stage because what I like about it too as well, you talk about God. I'm a very God-fearing man myself, and people would ask, "Oh, when you're around with the lingerie girls?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can still be with God. It's what I do. It's what I work with. It's what I love, and I know what's in my heart, and I know what's in your heart." And what I love about it too as well is I applaud you because people on social media will constantly say, "Oh, really? You're done with this? You're done with that?" But I'm like, "Yeah, it's just moving on to another stage. It's not something that is so abysmal that people would get angry about. I'm at least normal people, and I look at those people that do get angry at them, and I'll say it bluntly: fuck them. Live your life, do what you want to do, and as long as you're happy and not hurt anyone, that's what matters. And I think that divine intervention really has helped you to get you standing on your
Yeah.
feet where you are. I love it.
Yeah. Every single day, Mike, every single day for the last 14 months, someone has had something nasty to say to me about it. And even if it's something as simple as me disagreeing with a comment that they've shared or an opinion that they've tried to cram down my throat, no matter how politely or not politely I respond, their first reaction is, well, you're nothing but a whore. And I'm like, I was, and I was really good at it too. And in fact, like I was close to an all-star. So that will always be a part of me. But what's a part of me now is a testament that no matter how rowdy somebody gets in life, and no matter how deep their regrets might be, there is new life waiting for them if it's something they choose. And I did. I chose that new life. And when somebody says something shitty about me or to me, Mike, it doesn't bother me anymore because I know where I'm going when all this is over.
It's the same thing that I feel because I mean, let me tell you something. I think you're the bomb diggity, and I think a lot of people that watch this will think you're the bomb diggity. You're just being you, no matter what you do, as long as you just put your heart and soul into everything. And I think what a lot of people can take away from this that people love as far as content creators goes, authenticity and genuinity. That's the two things that
Yeah,
people love nowadays, and you certainly showcase that.
thank you. And I've got to say that there were definitely some growing pains. I'm still learning as I go. I'm still kind of new at this whole living a different life thing, and it's a journey, and it's going to be for anybody who makes that choice. But I owe a lot of gratitude to my husband. I put him through a lot for the 7 years we've been married 7 years now. I put him through a lot, and I didn't even acknowledge that. I didn't respect it, and I didn't want to take the time to point fingers at myself that I was a problem. And he, sure enough, Texas man, he's Southern. It's okay. He's a Cowboys fan. We totally forgive him for that because Philadelphia's going to embarrass them in a few months and it's going to be glorious. But some things are interesting in our house. I got to tell you. No, I'm kidding. He's a sweet guy. But what a lot of people don't realize is that spouses who may not have experience as adult performers or adult models, um, sometimes they keep some of those feelings inside just to be supportive. But when I told him that I was ready to leave and I was ready to do something new, I saw the expression on his face and I instantly felt the most the most incredible guilt because I could tell by his reaction from me saying I wanted something new, how relieved he was and how happy he was. I was just like, wow, what have you not been telling me all these years? And we've had a year to talk about it, and he's been very graceful. He's given me the room to learn how to reconnect to monogamy, which has been fun because I haven't been monogamous my whole life. I've never known how amazing that could be. And, we used to do the whole swing thing. We used to do the whole threesome thing. It was fun. It was fun. But when I started to see the world and my place in it differently, I get much more excited by having one person. And it's so
I got to add on to that because again, I'm getting touched and it's pulling on my heartstrings here because I'm gonna go this direction with it. Now, fans know popular culture. You look at a song like by Breaking Benjamin, the infamous song "My Polyamorous Friend Got Me Into Massive Trouble Again." That type of relationship is cool. It's something unique. It's fun. It's something to experiment with and explore. But I think that one-on-one connection and that one-on-one just overall love, you can't beat it. And I think this could be being old school or me, what have you. But I've always believed because I've seen my grandparents. My grandparents were married for over 40 plus years, and I've seen two of them just have the best doggone marriage ever, just relationship growing up with that. That is something that I would aspire to have with my significant other when that time comes. So, I mean, I just love the overall beauty of the heart and soul and just one-on-one and just really exploring one another through mind, body, and soul, and just that one-on-one connection. I love it.
Thing that I had to learn was because I put such an empty value on sex itself. And I told myself that sex wasn't a big deal. So even though it might have been special to the person I was with, I didn't see it the way that they did. And that was the case with my husband because I performed sex acts for work. And I did it as a job, whether it be on camera or in person when I was escorting, or even, with the sexual activity, over text messages or videos that I would make for customs. And I did not understand when I saw that look in his eye that day that I said I was ready to quit. I didn't understand it. And that's what made me feel bad. But over the last several months, we've gotten some really advanced professional help to, one, teach me what it was like and actually how to be monogamous. Because some people don't understand that somebody who's traditional or somebody who enjoys a traditional life, monogamy means something totally different. For instance, pornography. So for somebody who's super traditional, having a lustful observation of pornography is hurtful to them. Now, this goes for men and women. I know a lot of women bring up, my husband watches porn. Oh my God, I feel so disrespected. But not many people would think that men might have those feelings too. And I was kind of like, oh, well, why the hell didn't you say anything to me all these years? And he just told me it's because it was something you really were proud of. The work you were doing, made you feel good about yourself. You were making good money, and it made you feel like you were contributing to the family. And I said, yeah, that's true. And he said he didn't have the heart to tell me that. It was just something that was in the way of us being really close. Was my vision at work that it wasn't a big deal because I would bring that attitude home and he didn't have the heart to tell me I was screwing up our marriage. And that when I decided to be monogamous, I kind of had to learn all over again how to connect with my husband in a respectful way. I mean, in a respectful way, not including other partners in our life. That's what I meant. I'm not an asshole at home, but I wouldn't respect him in the way that a man deserved to be respected, as far as looking at him as a provider and a protector, because I was out doing all of these other things and I was including other men and the experience with other men and women. And I was enjoying it. And then I would come home and I just didn't see him the same. And I didn't realize I was doing that until we had gotten some professional guidance to put our marriage together in this awesome place where it's at now, which I really love.
And first of all, God bless on 7 years because that's awesome. That's the time and effort and a foundation right there.
It's the magic number.
It is, yes. And I think with time, just to focus on that imperative word there, I think time just where you guys were with therapy and to where you are now, I think time does a body good and time does wonders with people. And you constantly learn. I mean, it doesn't matter how old you are, you learn something every day and you just continue to learn, adapt, and grow. That's the overall cycle that we have as people. And I mean, I think it's wonderful, and I think what a lot of people could take away from not just this forum and anything in life. Open up your horizons, expand your horizons, adapt, live, grow, and you're golden, man. That's the most bluntest way I could say. You're golden, man.
One of the things I wanted to express today that I learned over the last 14 months of since my departure, there's a lot of angry people in the world today. A lot of angry people. I mean, people are being pitted against each other, so they're not paying attention to other things which they might not find suitable for their environment, right? Am I saying that right?
Yep, you're right.
But the thing that I wanted people to understand, the most important thing I've learned over the last 14 months is if you trust that that's the dog. She's mad. Yeah, if you learn to trust that you're going to be okay no matter what the world throws at you, you're always going to be okay because you have peace in your heart. You don't need to be mad anymore. You don't have to be angry with your neighbor. You don't have to hate fuck somebody on a first date because your ex made you mad, and you don't need to act like an asshole in social media. Mm, we've all seen that. But it's this beautiful appreciation for what a person has right this minute. Whatever condition, whatever health problem, whatever financial struggles, whatever, I found that peace, Mike, and I'm so happy to share that with people and how that happened for me.
Well, as you should. I mean, I think what a lot of people can take also from just peace in general, as I always say this, moments and memories created leads to moments and memories yet to be created. Means stay in the moment, be present in the moment, and create those memories. It doesn't matter from when you wake up until you go to sleep. Each and every day is a memory, and it's something that we could all take it into, whether it's subtleties, intricacies, and nuances that go into a day, a night, or evening, whatever. It's something special, and that really puts everything into perspective from the priority side of things.
And before we go, I want to give a shout out to Brandy May because Brandy May is doing something spectacular right now. I was hoping, I know you do this because you're super supportive of your guests and their endeavors. I wanted to encourage people. Oh my goodness, I had some celery earlier and it is not sitting well in my stomach. I'm trying to lose a couple inches, right? So I'm eating celery. And I absolutely love what Brandy May's doing. I'm watching her and I'm looking at her designs and I'm looking at her prowess and her, oh, just what do we say? Her je ne sais quoi. She's got some acumen. And I remember we talked about this last time, but she's really making moves, man. Like I'm seriously keeping an eye on this. I'm so impressed. So
No,
impressed.
agreed.
Yeah.
Her and her partner Kim have come up with Niche Boutique, which has designed a lot of the lingeries for the girls going into the next event, LFC 30 in October. She's hitting it out of the park. She's styling, she's profiling, and she's just great. I look at her and I equate it to you with what you're doing with your business. We got two great, beautiful human beings and two great minds in both yourself. I equate you both together, man.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much. And there are others, of course. We've got Lisa Ann, we've got Sterling Cooper, and there are others who just become directors, they become producers, they become studio heads. But there are some people who've left being actually on camera, or they're working that way, or they're setting up their fail safes. They're building their businesses now, so when the time is right for them, then they have another choice that they can make. And I've watched this with wide open eyes. I'm always seeing my eyes open because you know how they do that Netflix, or is it Amazon? I don't remember which. After porn ends, that program,
Mhm.
and most of them are either just getting out of prison, or they're addicted to something, or they're addicted while they're doing the show, or they're homeless or living with mom and dad, and they lost their kids, and they have nothing going on. I think one time I watched all of the episodes that they produced. One time, one person they interviewed for that program was an artist, and she had her own art in the studio. One person out of all the other, performers they interviewed did not have a completely screwed up life after porn. So Netflix or Amazon Prime or whoever the hell does that show, you got a ton of former adult performers who have made something of themselves in the most amazing way and are contributing to society, and they're happy, not addicted people. So why don't you people put us on the camera for a change? I mean, go get you a Joshua Broom, right? Or a Brandy May, or a Lady O, or an Alex who's running her own studio, for God's sakes. I mean, you've got people like Damian Kane. He went right into directing. he came off, he stopped performing and he went right into directing. He's been doing it for what, 25 years now? Nobody ever talks about stuff like that. But everyone talks about the people who fail, the ones who need to go to rehab for the rest of their life, or the ones who commit suicide, or the ones who wind up homeless or working at a shopping, grocery store or something. They're real quick to say how that porn is awful, it's going to ruin you, but nobody ever talks about the ones who make it. So I think you guys should do that. You all out there who are making these shows, a bunch of us now, because now we're multiplying.
Oh, agreed. I see you wholeheartedly. And what I also found was interesting, like years ago, I remember interviewing Rebecca Bardot. Like she did her stuff in adult work, but then you find out like she's done comedy and stand-up stuff. And I'm like, you see, that's very cool. Like you want to talk about like life.
Well,
You want to talk about that's fun. And she gets to experience the stories on stage and live and she's doing her comedy thing. I'm like, hell yeah, man. You want to root for people like that.
most famous person I can think of who is in porn who like went, as far as success goes, is probably Arnold Schwarzenegger. He did adult performing too, didn't he?
Oh, I mean, for bodybuilding and from where he was and doing a lot of the risque stuff from like the bodybuilding side of things to where he is now. I mean, the man's multi-intelligent from movies, from being the governor, the governator, if you will. Like that's just expanding your horizons. If Arnold can do it, then many others can do it too, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you, man. So I gotta tell you, I've been pretty head in the sand, got all my hands and feet and legs moving in different directions. I'm happy about it. I'm happy to see you. What's going on with you these days? What's new for the broadcast? What's coming?
I'm happy to see you too, first and foremost. But folks, we have a lot of stuff coming here with the LFC 38, the cosplay event in October, Las Vegas, Nevada. Shout out to Brandy May once more, new Shea
Brandon,
Boutique,
man.
everything. Brandy May, woo woo. And just we have so many great stuff. I love doing the show. We have more fans coming on. We have more fighters coming on, talking about debuts and past fighters. And of course, interviewing people like yourself, Miss Elizabeth Spraggins. I'm glad we got to do this tonight. And you know me, man, I'm just on my grind, smiling and just diving in to this great world of podcasts. And then I do have one more question before we do go out, because we did mention Brandy May, and she does do Niche Boutique, which is great, from lingerie and everything from the outer whale. And we talk about sex appeal. We talk about fighting and badass women here. So I got to ask you, we always talk about styling and profiling here on this show because there's a lot of elegance, there's a lot of beauty, there's sex appeal that goes into this. The L
Yeah.
stands for lingerie. So Elizabeth Spraggins, I have to ask you, what is some of your favorite type of lingerie that really sticks out to you? Because there's such a variety of elegance out there.
There is, and if Brandy May were to ever design something for me, I would love it no matter what. As a 46-year-old woman who's a little bit more I don't know about this, but it's what it is.
All right.
But I am a bigger woman. I'm like a size 10 now. I used to be a 16, so I'm a size 10 now. And I've had some work done that had left some marks on me. So it would have to be like a one piece, maybe, some of those really cool crisscross leggings, or oh gosh, I'd wear anything. All of her stuff is good, but I'm hoping it wouldn't be like a super tiny string thing that they used to put me in. Why are you doing that to me? See how 3 children has wrecked all of this, and they didn't give a shit. Like the Brazzers, they didn't care. The Naughty America, they were the first not to care. They're like, take that mid piece off, just take it off. And I'm like, do you see this?
Right.
They're like, seriously? Nobody gives a shit. And that was the first time since, oh God, 1999, I had.
Yep. I will say this though, whatever you do wear, and I'm going to put this the utmost sincerity and respect, you do look good, and you're only going to continue to look greater. I can't wait to see you on your journey, mind, body, and soul, and continuing it. I love it. And
I'm
folks,
gonna put you in my book.
I would stay in that hook. It'd be an honor to put you in that hook, ma'am. So thank you so much. And before we close this out, folks, if you are not checking out Elizabeth Spraggins on the social media front, man, and doing what she's doing, all joy inspired, where can we follow you? The floor is yours. Promote the social media.
Uh, yeah, I've got 3 accounts. One of them is for the corporation, and one of them is for the LLC, which is All Joy Inspired, and then the other one is my very personal page, which is all about my Christianity and how I'm learning to grow in that. and things of that nature. But the Alura Jenson one is mostly for current events awareness. I share my observations because I see things, and if I find that something could be important for people to know about, I share that, even if it pisses off some people. So that's all. That's Alura Jenson Inc. At Alura Jenson everywhere. And then we've got at All Joy Inspired everywhere. And then the other one is Elizabeth Spraggins on Facebook. And I forget what the Twitter one is. But if you just Google it. You'll be fine. You'll be all right.
I like your style. Links will be in the description below this. As I said, take a look into Dig Into Darkness, Living in Light. You do a lot of great broadcasts on your YouTube. Very inspiring, very encouraging words.
Tomorrow.
Yes, and I urge everyone to check it out. I definitely, in the future, I'm going to put myself out here right now. I'd love to be a guest in the future. We'll definitely work something out. I'm excited just to be working with you too and just have some fun. You are an absolute blast as always. And folks, check out October LFC 38. We back. Cosplaying, doing the damn thing. I like your style. Woo! Throw some stank on it, sprag on it. Oh my goodness. As folks, I love what I do. I love who I get to work with. And you, my dear friend, I include you in these sentiments. Beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. Yeah. And Elizabeth Spraggins, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next time, folks.
Bye, guys.
Fight, fight, fight. Gonna kick some